Howdy from Arlington, Texas, y'all. Hope this video finds you well. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Over the weekend, we lost a college football and pro football Hall of Famer. Um, a legend in many ways, even though he is a defensive player. He was definitely well known, had some media coverage, which is not exactly the most common thing for a defensive player. But Saturday, former WVU Mountaineer, New York Giant, Washington Redskins linebacker Sam Huff passed away at the age of 87. I want to say it was 2013. Maybe it was even earlier than that he had been diagnosed with dementia. So he had been out of the public light, for the most part for a bit of time. But I was just going to do a quick little snapshot of him and show you some of the cards I have. These were all the ones I could find today. As I've mentioned before, I'm not super organized. Um, hope to get more organized in the future. So, first thing I was going to say before I get into it is this is a book I've actually been reading over the last couple weeks. It's about Sam Huff and Frank Gadsky. There's going to be more about this in the future when I finish the book. I've had a video idea in mind for a while. But definitely enjoying this. And if you know anything about me, which, only I guess a few people know this, but I'm not a reader. I don't enjoy it. It tends to put me to sleep. It bores me. But this one has interested me just because of the subject matter. So if you kind of looked real quick at what it said under the title, you heard about the coal town. Sam Huff was born in Farmington, West Virginia on October 4th, 1937. So Farmington, West Virginia, for the 2010 census, had a population of 375 people. Let that sink in for a minute. It is most known for the 1968 Farmington mine disaster. You may or may not have heard of that, but I feel like it's mentioned every time there's any kind of coal mining tragedy in this country. If you're interested, feel free to go look it up. But Farmington is not only the birthplace of Sam Huff, also the birthplace of Pro Football Hall of Famer Frank Gadsky and current U.S. Senator Joe Manchin, who, if you follow politics, you hear about Joe Manchin a lot because he's about one of the most middle of the basically just United States representatives of any sort. He is a senator from West Virginia, but he kind of goes back and forth, kind of flippy floppy, depend on the issue. So you may have heard of him. Frank Gatsky, hey, reminder, auction ending. Frank Gatsky played at WVU from 1953 to 1955. Keep in mind, when he was in school, freshmen were not eligible to play. During the years that he played, the team went 31-7. His senior year, 1955, he was an All-American, and he was the co-captain of both the East-West Shrine Game and the Senior Bowl. And then he was later inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1980. He was a third-round pick by the New York Giants, 30th overall, and played with the Giants from 1956 until 1963. Then he went to the Redskins for more money, played with them through 1967, and was convinced to come back in 1969 when Vince Lombardi was the head coach, and he played that one final season. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1982. So I mentioned kind of the media, pop culture type stuff. 1959, he was the first NFL player to be shown or to be on the cover of Time magazine. Not as big a thing to us now, but in 1959, I don't know what the magazine rankings were, but that Time was one of the top, had to be the top handful of magazines in the country, if not the number one. And then in 1960, they did the Violent World of Sam Huff, which was part of a Walter Cronkite hosted anthology called The 20th Century. He was wired for sound and practice and exhibition games, and I believe that was the first time that anything like that had been done. So I don't have a ton of cards here. Guys like this that played in the good old days, I tend to not care too much about the current cards of them unless there's a reason. But you will see I have a few of these. Um, let's turn that bad boy off. Oh boy, my lighting's not very good. A little better. Is it gonna stand up? You gonna stand up, light? There we go. So this is from the starting lineup. This was a classic doubles. It had two starting lineups. I believe he was in there with Y.A. Tittle. But I love starting lineups, so that was a cool card for me. This, I'm not even sure what it is. It's some kind of unlicensed whatever, but it's got a penny. 1956, Sam Huff makes his NFL debut with New York, and I'm going to assume that penny is probably also 1956. Yeah, it sure is. So that is that. This was from like a World League set of some sort. Greats of the game, number 75 right there. Sam Huff. This was some sort of sticker. I got this cheap, I think, off eBay at some point. Not sure 100% what it was. Not even sure what possessed me to get it. It probably was the price. A couple of cards I picked up. 1964 Philadelphia from one of the local card shops here. I can tell by the tagging. Got another. This is what, Fleer. I'm not sure what year. But Fleer, obviously I pick them up, if they're a good price. So I do, obviously we all love some shiny in our life. So this is a Press Pass Legends Bowl Edition, numbered out of 99. And then one numbered out of 75. 1960 Topps cards. I believe those are 60. And if you do watch my channel, you watch my videos, you just saw this one recently because I've been picking up some Sam Huff cards. But this is a game used jersey card from 2011. Game Ward material is guaranteed by Panini America. That's the only one I currently have, but I actually have another one in transit. It's actually just coming from Dallas. So you will see that on a future video. I got some response to this. Everybody seemed to like this when I showed it recently. It was just a Redskins playing card set, but I definitely think that is cool. And then one that I hadn't shown yet that was going to be in an upcoming video, but I'm going to go ahead and show it now, is a 1961 Topps in a PSA 7. I've been surprised at some of the 60s as I've been looking at Sam Huff, Chuck Howley, guys like that played at WVU, and some other vintage stuff, some vintage Browns. There is some, pretty decent grade stuff. I mean, a 7 for a 1961 Topps card is pretty fantastic. Love having that in my collection. Obviously, you got some edge whiting and all that. But, yeah, very excited to have that and going to want to pick up more, maybe do a player run of Sam Huff, PSA graded. So this is probably my favorite card of his. And I told you, you saw that I've been buying some stuff. I unfortunately made a boo-boo and missed out. There was a 6-card lot of this card on eBay a couple weeks ago on auction that I definitely would have liked to have picked up. But yeah, that's one of my favorite. I love the black. I love the, these were some of the first action, if not the first action photos that were really on card. It's very early in that time, so one of my favorites. We got this from Gold Standard. Yeah, Signature Rookies. The old Signature Rookies, if you remember those from the 90s. Sam Huff autograph card, number 131 of 2,500. And then the last one is this, numbered out of 25. Obviously, I'm drawn to it because it is a WVU card. This is when Press Pass had a college license. Saturday Signatures, number 13 out of 25. So I thought I had I think it's 97 Upper Deck Legends, the ones that have the, tend to have the black and white photos, and they have the black border at the bottom. I had some, either I have that and I've misplaced it, or maybe at one point I sold it off when I was thinking I wanted to go, go whittle down the collection and go more WVU based than pro based because I don't care as much about the guys in their pro uniforms. But I'm definitely going to have to pick one of those up here after things, cool off. Obviously, when Hall of Famer passes away, you're going to get a little spike in prices. So I'll just be patient, wait for an auction to come up, and be able to pick one up. If you're around this evening, as you can see in front of you, hopefully, although I promote this and sometimes we don't make it on Mondays, but tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on the 3B Collection channel, Herman and I, we doing our weekly 1 hour live stream. So if you get the chance, would love to have you in the chat. We do try to be as interactive as just about anyone out there. So yeah, come join us if you got nothing happening tonight. But that's what I got for today. Be smart, be safe, be kind to animals, have your pet spayed or neutered, and I'll see you down the road.